Did someone say?
Protect the teleporter!
Sup bruv, this is Winston's Taint, bringing you another in-depth game review. This time we're gonna take a look at the Golden Globes nominee, The Sims 2. The Sims 2 was developed by Electronic Arts and released in 2004 for the suggested price of $38,772 Canadian dollars. The game was met with great receptions, with respectable outlets such as Kotaku, BuzzFeed and Polygon giving this game solid 9 out of 10s. Let's start with some technical shit. The Sims 2 runs on a Frostbite engine with a solid 27 FPS on a GTX 1070 in 420p. The game is so well optimized that it was also ported to PlayStation Portable, Mac and even Game Boy Advanced, with some calling the latter port the best version available today. The game came on 5 CDs, all sold separately in different game retailers. The game was banned in 17 different countries, including Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan and Pakistan, for promoting homosexual agenda to vulnerable children. In The Sims 2 you create your family and play out their lives in whatever way you want to. The choices are basically limitless, as the game allows you to go wild with your imagination. Because it is 2017 and here at Winston's Taint we support the LGBTBBQLOL movement, I settled for 5 massive faggots: Mills, Percy, Big Boy, Rage and Nico. I settled them in a small 2-bedroom house and let the game take its course, while I drank heavily, walloping in my own shitty life and misery. This is their story. Day 1 began innocently. Mills and Nico immediately took off, and so did Percy and Rage. Because all involved were huge gamers, I decided to sell some useless shit like showers and toilets to buy them arcade video games and a state-of-the-art CRT TV. Nico, not wasting any time, tried to seduce Mills, but he was playing hard to get. It wasn't long before the night came and the fun was about to begin. Not everyone was having a good time though. Realizing that their house went from having 14,000 to just 97 bucks, Big Boy got a job as a criminal. By 4 AM in the morning, all men were stinky, tired, and tensions were high, especially between Big Boy and Nico, which led to a huge fistfight between the two. The only people unaffected by this turn of events were Percy and Rage, who spent their evening cuddling and kissing. By the second day, I knew we were all doomed. The hunger, lack of sleep, and hygiene, as well as sexual tensions, were boiling. It was only a matter of time before something bad happened. During afternoon, Mills decided to cook a dinner for his roommates. It didn't end well. By the evening, everyone was angry, tired and very, very hungry. Mills couldn't handle the pressure and passed outside of the house. Nico and Big Boy spent their nights arguing and fighting again, while sleep-deprived Mills began to lose his shit, rapping to himself all night long. With the only way to clean yourself being a small sink in the middle of the living room, all men had to take turns cleaning themselves, while the rest waited patiently outside. Even though Percy and Rage seemed to be an item, Big Boy just couldn't handle being alone, and while Rage was sleeping, he decided to make a move on Percy. It worked. Day 3 began like any other, with all the faggots complaining about the lack of food and pools of urine everywhere around them. Turns out selling the toilet was a really bad idea. Big Boy, being a much better cook than Mills, prepared a meal for everyone, but unfortunately, he met the same fate as his predecessor. Mills tried to call the firefighters, but he was too late. Big Boy burned to crisp, just as Rage came back from work. This was too much for the poor Mills to handle. An old man went absolutely bonkers. There was no coming back. All the remaining men spent their night crying, pissing themselves and vomiting. By the morning of day 4, Mills decided to end his life. He barricaded himself in a small room and waited patiently for his life to end. Nico tried to cope in a different way. He called in social services with the intent of adopting a small mixed-race Somali child, but he was met with a harsh no. Everyone was kinda disappointed that Mills' suicide attempt was taking longer than expected. The fridge was empty, so all everyone had to eat were spoiled remains of TV dinners and Big Boy's ashes. Day 5 began with Nico and Rage fighting over the last bowl of cereal, with Rage pissing himself in the middle of their argument, which led to a full-blown fistfight. The kitchen was filled with piss and dirty plates lying everywhere. The only escape from this hell was finding a job. However, Big Boy being no longer with them, Rage was the only one financially supporting the household. It was after midnight of the 6th day that Mills finally starved to death. Next to his grave was a pool of piss, where he spent the last minutes of his life. The remaining 3 men were on the brink of insanity as well. During the night, Nico left the house and never came back. His remains were found shortly. Despite their quarrels, Rage paid respect to his fellow homosexual by kicking the shit out of his grave. And then, out of nowhere, Rage had a massive heart attack and died on the spot. Percy pled for the life of his lover, but to no avail. Rage was gone, and now Percy was the last man standing. By the morning of the 6th day, he too was no longer with us, dying of loneliness and heartbreak. This concluded the sad tale of the faggot household. So, as all of you already know, I rate the game on a scale from Gone Home to The Sims 3, and I have to say I didn't really enjoy my time with The Sims 2. It was a very depressing experience. My final score is Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Don't touch this game unless you have the Game Boy version. And that's it for today's review. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs down. If you want, you can subscribe to Koneko. That's it for me. This has been the Big Boy with another Winston Taint game review.